What up, guys? Connor Branch here, and today I'm going to be doing a movie rant. Today is a movie rant day, and that movie I'm going to be reviewing / ranting about today is The House with the Clock in its Walls. The House with the Clock in its Walls. This was a good movie. I think I saw like not last. I saw it a couple weeks ago. I saw it a couple weeks ago when it first came out. I think when it first came out. And let me tell you, it was a really good movie. So basically, the storyline is that this boy, this 10-year-old boy Lewis, he has to move to his uncle's home and has to live with them. After his parents died in in a car crash, and the last thing that he got from his parents before they died was apparently one of them gave him this magic 8 ball that apparently I guess it's supposed to give him good luck, or he answer questions throughout the whole thing. So anyway, he meets his uncle. I forgot what his uncle's name was, but he was played by Jack Black. Um, and let me tell you, his uncle's house, his uncle had a very strange, spooky house. Let me tell you, at night, it seemed like there were noises all around. The chairs moved by themselves. At one point in the movie, he tries to escape the house, tries to get out of there, but one of the chairs scoots itself in front of the door. The chair blocks him from leaving the house, and he's like, what the fuck is this? What? And then his uncle tries to reassure him that the house isn't haunted, and that the chairs and objects of the house normally do that by themselves. Uh, um, and then but the main part of this house is something that they have not found yet. His uncle hasn't even found it yet. It's this, hence the title. The house has a clock in its walls, somewhere in the walls, down in the basement. Um, and there's also his uncle had no house. He had no rules in the house. His uncle gave him no house rules. That no bedtime, no time to do this, no time to do that, no nothing. Except he gave him one rule: don't open the cabinet near the left. Don't open the cabinet in the basement, because if he opened that one, he have to leave the house. So anyway, this boy Lewis goes to school and briefly befriends this boy named Tarby. Tarby, what a name. But anyway, so this boy Tarby befriends him while they're playing basketball and all that, and then sometimes they end up doing they pitching baseballs after school, and eventually Lewis thinks he's befriended Tarby enough that he can actually take him over to his uncle's house and maybe see how cool it is and see how magical it is. And Tarby disagrees at first. At first he's like, "No, man, magic isn't real." And then Lewis is like, "It is real. I can show you." So Tarby reluctantly agrees to go over there, and they're over at the house. Oh, and Tarby does, however, make a mistake. He does end up opening the cabinet and finds a book of a book of spells in the cabinet, and that which is where his uncle goes home after finding a story about a dead scientist that died somewhere while performing one of his most famous experiments. Tarby put the book back, closed the cabinet, and leaves, saying, "See, I knew I never should have come over there. That was, this is all just weird. You're weird." And then he just leaves, and then Lewis of course gets away with it. He tries to fake it to make seem like he didn't open the cabinet, but eventually he finds out more info about this Isaac. I have to find out what his name is. That this dead scientist named Isaac, who died on performing one of his experiments, and he invites Tarby over again to try and raise him from the dead. And Tarby once again reluctantly agrees, but they end up meeting in the cemetery. that night, and Lewis reads from the book, and he sees a spell, um, and he says a spell in the book to see if he can raise the Isaac from the dead, from his big casket, which is like right in the middle of the gravestone, right in the middle of the cemetery, like right in the near the trees and bushes and fence. So he says a spell and then waits for a few seconds. Charby at first thinks this is all just a bunch of bullshit. He attempts to leave, and then, however, then he feels the grave open. A hand pops out, and Isaac starts to go out of the grave, and they both scream in disbelief. Tarby bails on them, or on him, and leaving Lewis to discover what he's just done. Um, the next day, Lewis wakes up, and he finds his uncle, and I guess his aunt lived there too, because she was the blonde one. They were talking about how they apparently heard that this Isaac guy had been risen from the dead the previous night, and they don't suspect Lewis of doing it at first, because they think Lewis, a 10-year-old boy, wouldn't do something like that. But he of course tries to hide it, and then he goes. Then he goes to school that day, tracks down Tarby once again, who by now this Tarby kid is sick of Lewis and all this bullshit that he's doing. Lewis is like, Tarby. Lewis is like, I mean, no, Tarby's like, what now? What now? I'm late for gym. No, Lewis is like, listen, please, man, please, listen. Whatever you do, you cannot tell anyone what happened in the center last night. I swear, I never should have done that. I swear, I didn't know that what would happen. And once again, Tarby is sick of hearing all this bullshit. Which causes him to unfortunately go to his full advances. He pushes Lewis into a room, briefly locks the door, and says, "All right, you listen to me, Lewis. If you tell anyone what happened in the cemetery last night, and I end up getting in trouble, I swear I will come back to you and I will break both of your arms and maybe both of your legs too. I swear to God, if you say anything." Lewis tries to fight back, but Tommy just flips him over. Fuck, and then leaves. Like I just did it. He flips him onto the floor, and so Lewis eventually ends up confessing that it was him to his uncle, when his uncle tells him that his uncle and his aunt, I think, tells him that he has to leave the house because of this whole thing that's going on. So then he explains that it was him who lifted Isaac from the dead, because he was trying to get Tubby to be his friend again, which bullshit. Wow, great job on that, and all that stuff, and then his uncle thinks back to when Lewis talked about how his parents died in the car crash, and how he was trying to do his best to do what they said throughout their life, and then he's like, "I'm sorry, I was just being stupid. We have to figure this thing out with Isaac. We have to put him back in his grave." And then just at that, Isaac ends up showing up at their door, their neighbor across the street, who Lewis tracks down, because since the pumpkins end up coming alive and start squirting orange goo, trying to trap them all in the house or on the lawn. Then his neighbor across the street ends up turning into Isaac's wife, who apparently stole someone else's body, and all that. And then they end up and then Lewis's mom ends up transforming it out of her body, and then Isaac is like the clock ends up being found in the walls, where if you fell through it, and you stop the clock, then time would go backwards, and then people would get younger than they actually were. Just like when Lewis's uncle fell through the clock, he ended up getting baby legs and turned into a baby. However, the only problem with that was he still had his adult head, so it looked really weird. um, but he ended up stopping the clock when he pushed Isaac down through it, and Lewis ended up sacrificing his eight ball down, and which all the purple goo exploded, and um, like and because it helped him along the way. Like it told him where the clock was, like near the boiler room and all that. Um, so anyway, so it ended up being a good ending with them eventually not putting Isaac back in his grave, but killing him in the clock. And at the end, Lewis went back to school, and in the same gym, they were picking teams, and then Tubby says, "Come on, man, can't you pick him? I don't want him on our team." And but he's like, "Come on, I don't want him on our team either." Then Lewis is like, "You know what, guys? It's okay. I don't want to play anyway. But I could still help your teams out." He picks up a basketball and takes two basketballs, throws one at Tarby and throws one at the other boy, knocks both of them out. In which the other two teams won Lewis on their team. They're like, "All right, that's I want Lewis on our team," and both teams saying it, and then then Lewis ends up making a new friend who's a girl, I think, and then that's the ending basically. Um, the movie's right. The movie's right here. Mrs. Zimmerman is her name. It's not his aunt. It's someone else. The movie's right here. Um, and the trailers and all that. So the reason why I decided to review and rant about this movie today is because not just because tomorrow's Halloween, but it's the most recent movie that I saw in theaters. So I figured I would do that. I would I would show part of the trailer, but I'm already into 12 minutes, so I kind of like scammed through it on my screen. Hope you saw it. So with that being said, this was a good movie. It has 85% like the movie. It's got a 4-star rating, so it's pretty good. With that being said, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.